welcome back to Hannah's World. My name is Hannah Shali, and today I will be teaching you how to solve a Rubik's Cube. So, if you don't know what a Rubik's Cube is, it's a cube that has 6 colors on it for each side. Well, that's a regular 3x3 because there are many types of cubes, but I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a regular 3x3 cube. So, the colors on the Rubik's Cube are red, yellow, orange, white, green, and also blue. So, this is a beginner's method. So, if you're looking to make solving a Rubik's Cube faster or just get better at solving a Rubik's Cube, this is not the method for you. It's not the tutorial, because the tutorial is for people who don't know how to solve a Rubik's Cube yet, because I really hope that this tutorial will work. And this is what I find the simplest, but everybody's different. So if anything is really unclear, you should really check out some more tutorials, because everybody explains it in a different way. But I really hope that this one will help you solve a Rubik's Cube so that you can really be good at solving them. I'm not especially known for solving them or anything, but it is really easy once you get the hang of it. So let's start. The way you start is with the yellow side facing up. And what you have to do is you have to make something called a daisy. Now, it's not the real flower, but it's a daisy on a Rubik's Cube, which means that this, and this should be white. But right now, it's still a solved Rubik's Cube. So let's scramble it up and then try. Okay, now it's scrambled up. So now we can do the daisy. So the really easiest way to do this is to keep on rotating until a piece fits in like that. So remember, everything except the corners and the middle should be white. I'm going to call these edges. I'm not sure what the real term is, but I'm just going to call them edges to avoid confusion. So all the edges should be white. Best way, again, is to keep on doing this, but if there's nothing over there, then that's fine. We can do a different method, which I'll show very soon. This works, but there's corners over here. We don't want the corners. You don't have to do this step, it's optional, but it will make things easier. So, just to remove it, you're going to turn it once this way, and then turn it like this, so that it's alone. But do it maybe twice if it doesn't work, like it just didn't work for me. Now, when I put it up, it doesn't really work anymore. This works, so I can just remove it like that and put it up. This also works, but this does not work, so I'll show you what to do when it doesn't work. So the first step is to find something like this, and then you just bring it up to the yellow, which is up here. You have to bring it up like this. First step to do is to bring it twice. So you bring it up like this. Then you put it again. Technically twice. And then you have to remove the bottom because it's a white there. If there's no white there, then you don't need to do that step. Again, the step to remove the corners is optional. You don't need to do it, but it does make things easier. Then what you're going to do, you're going to either twist the top. I feel like twisting the middle and bottom is what I'm used to, but the top is easier for some people. Twist it once. So if you're doing the top, you just twist the top like that. But for me, I'm doing this, twist it once. And then you should be able to do it. Now, this is what we call in the cube world, I don't know, the cube world, this is what we call a daisy. It's just the middle yellow, the dot is yellow, and the edges are white. Again, I'm not sure the proper term for these, I'm just calling them edges. Now what we're going to do is we have to line up the edges. Since edges have 2 colors, you have to line up the second color other than white to the bottom. These 2 are not the same color, you cannot see them. So we have to line it up to what is the same color. So you just rotate the top, it's very simple. This is green and green, but not all have to line up at the same time. I'll show you why. This is green and green. But now all we have to do is rotate it to the bottom like that to make sure that's now going to be part of white. Do not keep on turning it to the white and back. It'll just become confusing then. But if you really need to check because you're not sure, then you can do it. But I don't think you do because it's very simple. Just two twists. Now we're going to match up everything else by just doing the same method. You twist it. So twisting one, then two, to make sure that it gets to the bottom. See? Perfect. Now just do it to the rest. It's very simple. Sometimes you don't even need to twist it because it's already all lined up. Now all you should be left with on the top is a yellow dot and some other colors. Maybe white, but that doesn't really matter because at the bottom you should have a cross and just double check to make sure that these two colors are the same. The top and the middle color have to be the same. But nothing else really matters. Now we're going to make the whole bottom white. The way we do this is with a very special technique that I'm going to teach you, which is very important. These are very special form moves. It's called R, U, R prime, U prime. So this is how you do it again. R, U, R prime, U prime. So since we have to solve the bottom, we first have to line up the things with white. So now we have to see corners. Before we were seeing the edges, now we have to see the corners. So we have the red. It might not look red in camera, but I'm specifying this is red, white, and green. Where else is red, white, and green? There's red, white, and green. So it has to go exactly here, so that lines up correctly. The way we do this is by continually doing R, U, R prime, U prime. I'm going to call these the golden form moves because they're very special in the cubing world. R, U, R prime, U prime. You keep on doing it until you get it correct, and then it fits in. And even if it fits in before you do U prime, you always have to do U prime. All form moves, no less, unless you have to, which means it's not the golden form moves anymore because it's a different set of moves. You always have to do the 4 sets to make this work. Now this is white, orange, and blue. Where else can we find white, orange, and blue? White, orange, and blue. So it should be right over here in the corner. We have to move it once, and don't worry, you didn't mess up anything if you did this already. You made it better. Now we're going to do R, U, R prime, U prime, the 4 golden moves. Keep on repeating it until it works. Now I'm going to just see this one. It's already in the right spot, so we can just do R, U, R prime, U prime without worrying about moving it. Perfect. And now we just have one more to go, which is right over here, also in the right spot. So we don't need to move it. Let's just do this. The 4 golden moves. Done. Now the bottom is completely solved. If your bottom of the cube is not solved yet, then you might have done something wrong. So maybe try to do it again to help. So this, we made the first layer because all of these are the same colors. Make sure that they're the same colors as the center dot. If they're not, then you can just twist it to make sure they are. But mine are, so I don't need to do anything. Now we're going to move on to the second layer. Obviously, 2 comes after 1. So we are going to do this by making these edges the same color as the dot in that area. This step might be a little bit confusing. Well, this specific bit, so the second layer, making the second layer might be a little bit confusing. So make sure you're doing this all correct, otherwise the whole cube could get messed up. Now, go to the top and see which ones do not have yellow on them. Which edges do not have yellow on them. I see 2 of these, but they do have yellow on them. So that means all the ones with colors other than yellow are already in place, but not in the correct place. Some of them might be, but not all of them are. And for me, none of them are. So we have to replace them with any random pieces, because we need at least one to start off with. I'm going to start with using this one, just as an example. But yours should not have yellow on it, unless you're doing the same thing and need to remove one piece that is inside another piece. Like inside already, but you need to use it for something else to make it in another area. When you do this, again, yours should not have yellow unless you're doing the same thing as me. But it's the same step still. What I'm going to do is since I have to fit mine on the right hand side, I first need to pretend that this is blue, or the color that you're matching it up with needs to be the same color as the center dot. Match it up. For me, I'm just yellow. And then instead of moving it one to the right, you have to move it one to the left. This might be a little bit confusing, but remember, it always has to be the opposite of this color that you're trying to fit it in. Moving it one to the left. But now since the actual color that we're trying to fit it in this case is red, we have to start doing this. R, U, R prime, U prime on the right hand side. So there are 2 moves, just to be clear, there are 2. There's the right hand side for the golden 4 moves, and the left hand side for the golden 4 moves. R, U, R prime, U prime. Right now we're trying to do the right hand side, but we'll also need to do the left hand side very quickly. The left hand side is the same, but I'll show you when you need to do it so that I don't mess up. We are going to just put this in place. But now since we have this already, we did it with the right hand side, we need to now flip the whole cube this way and do it with the left hand side, which is like this. R, U, R prime, U prime. And now we got that piece in place. The piece that we wanted to just take this out. But in your case, it should be the piece that you want to stay there. That's not going to stay there completely the whole time, just until we find the rest. So I'm just going to do the rest. And if you're unclear, this is how it goes again. Okay? So first you match up the color that's on top, like over here, to the center of it. Like this. And then what you're going to do is, I have red on this side. You have to do it to the other side, not this side, the opposite. Remember guys, the opposite. Then you're going to do, depending on which side it is, for me it's left this time, you have to do R, U, R prime, U prime on the side that you actually want it to be, the other actual color. Then you're going to twist the whole cube, not twist it, you're just going to move the whole cube this way, and then do R, U, R prime, U prime on the other hand. Then it should be fit. So I'm just going to do the rest of them and then see you guys after. So I got it all, and that means that the first layer and the second layer colors should be the same. Remember that it's the color of the dot in the middle, because the dot will never ever move. That's your center point for the cube. Now I have to do the third layer, but it's very, very different from the first and second. I think you should have all guessed that by now, because the second was kind of different from the first. But by very different, I mean very, very different. Because the top, you have to make a cross. It's very similar to the very, very first thing we did though. But this time it's just a full plain old yellow cross. So we are going to start by making a cross in the middle. We are just ignoring all the side colors, just the cross in the middle. The way you do this is Well, there are some things that might pop up when you're trying to do this. When you are trying to do this, what might happen is that you don't have anything in the middle, you have 2 in the middle, or you already have all 4 in the middle. If you already have all 4 of them in the middle, you've already done this step and you can just move on to the next one. But a lot of the times that you do it, that usually doesn't happen. So the way you do it is always going to be like this. You're going to keep it up so that the yellow side is facing, well, not the yellow side, that one side is facing you. In this case, the green side for me. It's not facing the camera, but it's facing me right now. So I'm going to show it like this. Then what you're going to do is going to turn it clockwise once. One turn clockwise. Then you're going to do R-U, R prime, U prime. And then keep on doing that until you have three dots. Well, in my case, I just have 1 right now. I'm going to turn it back, and now I have 2. I'm going to do it on this side now. Going to turn it like this, then, and now I have 3. The reason you only wait until you have 3 is because when you turn it back, most likely it'll be over there. Not even most likely. If you have 3, then it should always be over there. But right now, there's something like this over here. It's kind of like in 4 corners. We can ignore that for now. There is a way to remove it, but it does take more steps, and it's not mandatory to, because you can always do it without removing it. So right now, we're just going to remove this bit. Now what we have to move on to is matching up the colors on the sides. This is my favorite step because it only takes 1 step to do, and you only have to do that step once if you did it correctly. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to match up as many as possible. You can either match up 2, 0, or all 4. But the maximum you can match up is all 4, but you should usually be able to do 2. Not even 0. Usually it's not 0. But if it is 0, then you can just do this anywhere. If it is 2, then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that one of it is on the back, like one of the things that matches is on the back, and one of it is on the right. But if you can't do that, in my case I can't because they're opposite, then you can just do this anywhere like you would do with the possibility that yours has none, like none matching. So the way you do it is that you have to first put one up. Now pay attention to this pair, or you don't have to, but just remember when you put it up, there has to be a pair with 2 colors of the same. Then you're going to move it 1 across, and then put it down, and then move it 1 across again, till it's all the way over here. Then you're going to put it up, and move it all the way back, and put it down. Now, for me, all it did is, well, pretty much nothing, because what happened was that it just made it so that, one sec guys, just made it so that 2 of it would match. So now 2 of this matches this way, so I can do it properly. So if that happened to you guys as well, then just make sure that you put it now so that one is at the back and one is at the right, and then do it. So if it happens like the 2 are opposite to each other, then you will have to do the step twice, but at least it's a very simple thing to do. And then, ta-da, all matching up. Well, now we have to do this where we match up the corners. This is my least favorite part because it always takes a long time to do. Right now, all the corners are matched up for me though. That's a bit odd. But what would happen to you if the corners are not matched up? The way that you do match it up is very simple. You have to put one like this. First step you have to do is put one corner should be solved. If not, that's fine. You can put it anywhere. But if one corner is solved, then just put that to your right, like the bottom right, and face it towards you. Then what you're going to do is, so you have to move it once this way, and then move it up, move it this way. You put one aside, move it up, move it this way, push one down, move it this way, push it down, and then most of this will stay the same, but check if everything else is solved. Sometimes you have to repeat a few times, always in the same spot. Remember that, guys. You have to repeat it a few times, but it does always work in the end. I'm just going to do it a few times because it was all good for me, but I just need to show you guys. So I'm just going to do it a few times. So like this, and like this. I'm just going to do it a few times, guys. Be back soon. Okay, and now I fixed it, guys. This is the very last step, and it's very simple. So it involves the golden four moves. You're going to do this now. You're going to turn your cube upside down. This is very shocking because usually we only do it with the outside up. But just trust me, guys, upside down. Also, just to specify, the right spot may not look solved, but it is the right spot. Because what happens is that the yellow, yellow, red, red, green, green. So all the colors should just be in 3 spaces and it should involve yellow in it. So this does not look like it's solved, but it is in the right spot. This looks like it's solved, but that does not necessarily mean it's in the right spot. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong if it doesn't look solved. It just means that it doesn't look solved, and that's completely fine. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. And now, you're going to turn it upside down, and you're going to start with one corner. It doesn't really matter which, but I'm starting with the one that's furthest away. But this one is solved. I'm starting with the one that's closest to the one that's solved, but not this way, because then you have to go this way. It doesn't really matter though. You can do it with animation, if that makes sense. Anyways, R, U, up on U. I'm just going to keep on repeating that until it fits it. We're going to do this one by one. It may look like we're messing it up and there's way more steps ahead, but this is the last few steps, really. Now, you have to twist the bottom. Do not twist the whole cube. Do not turn it. Twist the bottom. Even if you guys feel like, oh, I can just do it here and it will all work out, it will not. I did this mistake the first time and had to do everything over again. Just make sure to twist the bottom and then solve it. And now it's in position. Now twist the bottom. And if you guys have to do it, then you can turn it around again. I don't have to because that was already solved. But now, guys, this is very simple what you do. Twist it twice, and then you're done with the cube. So this was very fun to do and also very simple. But guys, if you feel like you couldn't solve the cube, then you should obviously check out some more tutorials. They could explain it in different ways, and they could explain it differently so that you understand. They could do a different method, and maybe that was easier for you. This is what I found easiest, and this is what I use. But everybody's different, so sometimes you find it differently. But don't worry if you couldn't do it with this tutorial. It doesn't mean that you'll never be able to solve a cube before. It just means that maybe you need a little bit more practice, or maybe you need to watch something else. But anyways, I really hope that I helped you guys solve a Rubik's Cube. I know that it's really great. It's a really great feeling when you know how to solve it. So I really hope you guys liked it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you another time on Helen's World. Bye, guys. See you next time.